Hello, I'm Mukala Kabongo, and on this edition of the LCTV News, City Council approves bond, Seth Moulton endorses Nicholson, Lynn Public Schools new hires, outdoor dining support, Vietnam Wall replica, and more. On the Lynn Lowdown, we spoke with Chief Christopher Reddy of the Lynn Police Department. Here's this week's LCTV News for Friday, July 16th, 2021.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Columbia Insurance Agency, serving the Lynn community for over 60 years with home, auto, and business insurance.
On Tuesday, the Lynn City Council voted unanimously to approve a $2.5 million in bonds to pay for the installation of a new irrigation system at GANNON Golf Course. This is part of the 5-year plan that was put in place 6 years ago that would help restore the golf course. Life expectancy for most golf courses' irrigation system is approximately 20 to 30 years. GANNON's irrigation system is more than 50 years old. The new sprinkler system will save water and will reach the fairways. GANNON currently has a revolving fund of $1.6 million. With the additional $2.5 million bond, the city will be able to keep a nice chunk of change in the revolving fund for emergency purposes. Also, during Tuesday's City Council meeting, the council unanimously voted to accept funds to assist with the renovations at Barry Park. Last year, the state's Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs awarded the city $400,000 from the Parkland Acquisition and Renovations for Communities grant program. From that $400,000, the city will cover the $180,000 they received from the Community Development Block Grant program. The funds will go towards a splash pad, renovation of the basketball courts, landscaping, and removal of the park's concrete bleachers. To find out more from this week's City Council meeting, visit linntv.org to watch the full council meetings. Over the weekend, Congressman Seth Moulton announced his endorsement of Jared Nicholson for mayor. Moulton and Nicholson both toured the Lynn Commuter Rail Station, where the two discussed the importance of improving public transportation in the city. A key to Moulton's endorsement of Nicholson was his leadership, intellect, and commitment. Moulton said Nicholson represents the next generation of leadership and that will help keep Lynn on a positive trajectory. Nicholson says he is thrilled and honored to have the support of Moulton. Earlier this month, the Lynn Public Schools appointed Fred Gallo as the new principal at Lynn Tech. Gallo will replace Clarissa Karakudos. Gallo, who has been an educator at Lynn Tech for 32 years, serving as a bilingual teacher, focusing on science and mathematics. He also was a physics teacher for 5 years before becoming guidance counselor. Gallo served as a guidance counselor for 16 years before he became vice principal in 2015. Lynn English High appointed Dr. John Braga as their new principal. Dr. Braga will replace acting principal Tessie Maurer. Previously, Dr. Braga served as an English teacher at Mario Umana Academy School in Boston. He was an English teacher at East Boston High and served as Director of English Language Learners and Services and Supplemental Programs in Boston and Somerville. Lastly, Carolyn Fable was appointed Executive Director of Human Resources. Fable's career in education began in Los Angeles 20 years ago as a special education teacher. She would then transition into human resources after 7 years as a special ed teacher. She holds a master's degree in special education from California State University. Congratulations to all three on their new positions. The City of Lynn's Creative Collective have supported the creation of 14 outdoor dining areas throughout the city. Each area was designed to maximize accessibility for pedestrians and diners, as well as support the goals of business owners. Mayor McGee says this has been a terrific opportunity to activate our commercial corridors and rethink how we use the public realm in a better way to support our independent businesses. The project was supported by MassDOT's Shared Streets grant, as well as funding for the city's Office of Community Development and Economic Development and Industrial Corporation. Read more about the Creative Collective on the LCTV blog by visiting lyntv.org. The Cummings Foundation's $25 million grant program has awarded the Haven Project a 10-year, $500,000 grant for its work with young adults who are experiencing or are at a high risk of homelessness. This grant will give the Haven Project the opportunity to make long-term investments in staff and develop age-appropriate programs for clients. The U.S. House of Representatives passed legislation that includes funding for 3 local projects, 2 of which are in Lynn. The projects include the Lynn Complete Streets, rehabilitation of the Lynn Commuter Rail Station, and the Peabody Canal Riverwalk construction, according to 6th District Congressman Seth Moulton. At this time, funds towards the Blue Line expansions into Lynn were not included in the legislation. The bill still has to advance through the Senate. If that happens, then Congressman Moulton will have secured $19.6 million into this district. A request of $560,000 by the City of Lynn to extend the roadway reconstruction and safety improvements in downtown Lynn. The city also requested for $10 million in the reconstruction of the commuter rail platform. With election season inching closer and closer, LCTV's David Riley Jr. has put together election PSAs for residents with important information for this year's election. Here is the election PSA.
Every other year, the voters of Lynn choose members of the City Council and School Committee, and every 4 years vote for mayor. Lynn is divided into 7 wards. Each one gets a councilor specific to that ward. There are also 4 at-large councilors responsible for the whole city. These councilors are responsible for helping Lynn residents by connecting them to resources, services, and city departments. They also vote on laws, the city budget, and more at city council meetings. On the school committee, there are 6 members elected who work with the mayor in all matters pertaining to the Lynn public school system. This includes picking the superintendent, creating policies for students and teachers, and more. After the preliminary election, multiple candidates may be eliminated. Only up to 2 candidates for each ward, 8 at-large candidates, 12 school committee candidates, and 2 mayoral candidates may advance to the final election. In Lynn, there are multiple locations to vote at in person. These locations are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on election days. Each ward has at least 1 location to vote at in person. There is also early in-person and mail-in voting allowed in Massachusetts, and we publicize information about these methods ahead of time. If you're not registered to vote or don't know your status, you can register or check by visiting lynnma.gov and going to the Chief of Elections section, or you can call 781-586-6805. If you're not sure where to go to vote, visit wheredoivotema.com and fill out the form to find out. For up-to-date election coverage, voting information, and more, please visit the free elections section of our website, lyntv.org/election.
The PSA will be released in Spanish and Khmer next week. Visit the Lynn TV website at lyntv.org. Thank you to Borders Magazine. Thank you to Without Borders Magazine at Corona Center on their assistance in translating the PSAs. The Wall That Heals, a 3/4-size replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, was escorted to Nahant by the Legion of Riders, as well as Lynn Police and Fire Department and Nahant Police Department. LCTV was on the scene. The Wall That Heals replica made its way to Nahant Tuesday afternoon.
This has been 2 years in the making. Woo! And a pandemic later.
So the Wall That Heals is a program of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. It is going to be a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C.
The wall honors those who fought for this country during the Vietnam War.
And we're all here to remember the 58,000 plus names that are etched on these panels.
You know, for us, it's a really important program and piece of work that we do, and we're really honored to have the opportunities to work with these families and share this experience with them.
How many people here know somebody who went to Vietnam? Right? Look it, this is something that just should unite our country. No matter what happened during those years, this is something that brings us all together.
The replica will be on display 24/7 until Sunday, where it then will make its way down to Washington, D.C.
It was a really amazing escort, and it was really awesome to have everybody driving in and checking it out.
It's just an honor to represent a town like Nahat in this district that cares so much about its veterans, to see the Legion come together, the town, the Board of Selectmen, law enforcement, fire department, and to have all of you here today as our guests is an honor. And just watching that convoy come over the causeway was so moving and so powerful, and it really is a wall that heals, and this event will really represent who we are in Nahat. Thank you very much.
For LCTV, I'm Mukala Kabongo. Earlier this month, an announcement was made by the NCAA that student athletes can profit off their names, image, and likeness, prompting many student athletes to sign endorsement deals. Endicott College junior Jalen Echeverria became the first Division III player to sign an endorsement deal with iSlide USA. Echeverria spoke with LCTV about his decision.
It's a blessing. I mean, as soon as the deal came out about NCAA players can get paid, Vazin hit me up the same day.
For us, there's not much new to it. It's more the opportunity to work with some of these kids who are younger, and they have a lot of reach, they have a lot of likeness, they have a lot of things that they can leverage that they've earned. For iSlide, just as a brand, we've always done custom, we've always done partnerships, we've always done collabs, and we've always kind of kept our, I guess you'd say, like eye on the culture, on the pulse. So that involved a lot of high school and college kids.
It's definitely crazy, just seeing everyone above me that came from Lynn and then seeing where they went. It's definitely crazy being the first Lynn player and the first D3 player to sign a deal.
I thought he was a perfect fit for the brand, from like I said, skill on the court, but also to dedication off the court, and then who he is as a person. I mean, it's a royalty deal, so the sky's the limit. There is no ceiling, there is no stopping how much he can make or how many designs he can create. So there's a lot of future in this as well.
So when I went up there, we created a slide. Well, I created a slide, my own personal slide. And then I created socks also. Those will be dropping soon. Those haven't dropped yet. But the slides have dropped and they are on the website. It's definitely a lesson to the younger kids, just to follow your dreams no matter what, no matter if you're failing. Just know it's gonna get better always. Every day work hard, work to your hardest. Just know that it's gonna get better no matter what, as long as you put your heart and head to it.
Easy enough. There you go. Welcome to the family, kid. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Absolutely. Iron. That's long time.
Galleries at Lynn Arts' new exhibit, Memoirs, was revealed to the public earlier this month, and LCTV was on hand.
I have curated this exhibit, Memoirs, and I am also one of the exhibiting artists. My paintings behind me are from my series, I Miss My Students, as I am a teacher in Lynn Public Schools as well, and that was a series I did during the pandemic.
I have two pieces behind me. They're both pictures or images with poetry. I was drawn to this exhibit because it is a personal thing and a lot of memories. These two are about my visit to Japan. The other two are more not related to poetry, but personal experiences.
I would watch the light as it went around my home through different windows and photograph things that were dear to me. Two of them behind me. The top one is a teapot where we kept change so we could buy penny candy whenever we wanted. And my mother's button jar.
So my contribution to the Lynn Arts Gala are lyrics to my next single, Why They Love Me. The reason why I wanted to submit to this gala specifically is because this is in my hometown. I've always imagined my work, whether it be in art form or lyric form, be on some type of wall or on some type of mural around here to represent what the city means to me and what it means to the work that I produce in music. This means specifically a lot to me for that reason.
Gallery hours are from noon to 3 on both Thursdays and Sundays, and on Saturday I am here from 11 to 5. Y si quieres hablar en español sobre cosas de arte, por favor, visitarme en sábado entre las 11 y 5. Estamos a tus órdenes.
So come on down and see this wonderful exhibit.
LCTV was in attendance at the Lynn Public Library for the library's summer kickoff program. Here's more from the event.
Anyone have any questions before we put Maui away? Any questions? Yes, you have a question? No, my son named the dog, and he was infatuated with Maui at the time. Wave the frisbee so Mojo sees it and throw it towards my van.
Okay, he's ready. Oh my God.
All right, nice job, buddy. Good throw and a good catch. Come here, Moj. Up here. You must legs. Walk, 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 walk. Give me another tractor. Get them ready. All right, you're gonna lead us off. What's your name? Zachary. You got it? You're gonna make him jump? All right. Mojo, Jack, wave it so he sees it. There you go, he's ready. Go ahead, whenever you're ready, Jackson. That was a little too high. Let's hear for Jackson, but a good catch. All right, Jackson, go to the end of the line. What's your name? Nathan. Oh, Nathan's gonna do it. Nice one, Nathan. Let's hear for Nathan. Nice job, Nathan. Remember, you're aiming for right here. What's your name? Nathan, get to the end of the line. Linda? Linda's up next. Nice job, Linda. Let's hear for Linda. What's your name? Dizzy? I'm saying Dizzy. Izzy. There you go. Nice one, Izzy. Linda. On the count of 3, let's hear it for our gold medalist, Linda. Linda, you stay out here with me. Rest of the helpers go sit down, because Linda, you get to judge the next contest, all right?
Now for the sports update. Lynn Babe Ruth has moved to the state semifinals after their 6-5 victory over Parkway Wednesday in the Babe Ruth tournament. Lynn got a big game from Justin Jennings, who went 2 for 3 with a triple and an RBI. Jake Peterson went 5 innings, striking out 10 batters while allowing 5 runs on 3 hits. After going up 4-0 off of a Devin Duval double, Parkway would rally in the 5th to tie things up at 5 apiece. Jake Peterson's sacrifice fly would bring in the game-deciding run for Lynn. J.J. Avery would close out the game by striking out 2 of the final 3 batters. Lynn Babe Ruth is back on the field today. Congratulations to the St. Mary's baseball team who captured their second straight state championship after defeating Hopkinton 5-2. The Spartans would strike first in the first inning with a Kobe Magliozzi's RBI walk that brought in the first run. Hopkinton would take a 2-1 lead off a Dylan Loke 2-run single. It was all Spartans after that. Tad Giordana would break the 2-2 tie, followed by a Hopkinton error that brought in Dante D'Ambrosio. Terrence Moynihan's RBI single would give the Spartans the 5-2 lead and the championships. The Spartans finished the season with a 20-6 record. Congratulations to St. Mary's pitcher Lily Newhall and Avon Cabral, who were named to the Boston Herald All-Scholastic teams. Newhall and Cabral were also named to Boston Globe All-Scholastic team. Congratulations to both players. And now for the pros. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning the Stanley Cup Finals after their 1-0 victory over the Montreal Canadiens earlier this month. In a tight defensive matchup, it was Ross Colton's goal in the second period that gave the Lightning the 1-0 lead. That's all that would be needed, as Lightning goalie Andrei Vasilevsky, who would not allow a single goal and saved 22 shots on goal. For the Lightning, this is their second straight Stanley Cup Finals. Congratulations to the Lightning on a great season. The NBA Finals is now a best-of-3 series after the Milwaukee Bucks tied the series at 2 games apiece Wednesday night. Chris Middleton had a team-high 40 points to lead the Bucks' offensive charge. Middleton went on a personal 8-0 run late in the fourth quarter to help the Bucks pull away from the Suns. Giannis Antetokounmpo flirted with a triple-double with his 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. For the Suns, Devin Booker's 42 points was not enough. The Suns will look to take back control of the series Saturday night in Phoenix. Last night's Red Sox vs. Yankees matchup was postponed due to 6 positive COVID tests within the Yankees organization. 3 pitchers on the Yankees staff were placed on the COVID inactive list. Tonight's scheduled matchup between the rivals is still up in the air. On this week's Lynn Lowdown, we spoke with Police Chief Christopher Reddy. Here is this week's Lowdown. Hello and welcome to the Lynn Lowdown, and today we are joined by Chief of Police Christopher Reddy. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Good morning. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well. It's been 6 weeks.
Right, a little over 6 weeks, I believe.
A little over 6 weeks. May 20th, they announced the decision to put you as the new chief of police. When you got that news, what was your first reaction when you got that news?
It was really, it's overwhelming, it's humbling. I was very honored to have been chosen, and really just, it's a career highlight. So I was thrilled and my family was thrilled.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that process. How's that process for you with all the candidates and the stuff that?
Yeah, it was a pretty extensive process, and it went on for a long period of time. There's a lot of preparation involved and multiple stages. So I think both Deputy Chief Vale and Captain O'Toole, tremendous individuals. I've been friends and co-workers with them for years, and I have tremendous respect for them. So I think the city was fortunate to have all 3 candidates, and I think we all worked hard, and I'm grateful and humbled to have been selected.
Yeah. What has been these last several weeks been like since your first day as the chief of police? Can you just talk to me a little about your day to day since you got the role and fully began to develop?
Well, yeah, obviously there's a transition from my former assignment as the captain of patrol to the chief's position. There's, everything from shutting down what you were doing and making connections, people that would normally call me for things and connecting them up with somebody else, to then coming into the chief's role and getting a grasp on all the different responsibilities and everything from budgeting to, obviously a much greater role in policy development and in training and just the general overall operations of the department. So there's certainly there's a lot to get up to speed on, but as I said to you earlier, I'm very happy to say we're surrounded by a lot of good, talented, hardworking people. So it's nice to be able to lean on folks who've been doing it and they're very good at it. So
and this job, it's more so you're looking over the whole thing. You know, as captain, you're looking over a certain amount of people.
Correct.
Now you're looking over everybody. Does that? You sit back and like, oh, okay.
You have a moment when you go, whoa. But obviously you've put some thought into that beforehand. You knew, you know, there's the expectations that we all, I believe, spent some time thinking about what we were seeking. But then once you get into it, then there's the actual doing, and so that it takes some work. And there's a period of transition. But like I said, I feel increasingly comfortable and confident, and I'm grateful for the people that I can lean on and rely on along the way.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the state of department right now. You know, the budget. There was that budget meeting at City Hall that just went through. You know, you talked about all that, but then just talk about the state of the department. How's everything right now? Just overall.
I would say we're in a period of transition in that a lot of the officers who come on in the late 80s and late 90s, where there were significant hiring occurred back then, and they're all coming to retirement age along a similar timeline. So we're in a period of transition where officers are increasingly going to retirement or transitioning out of the job for other reasons, and we have new young people coming in. So I look at that positively, because these young officers bring a renewed energy. Many of them are much more familiar with technology and the current climate of the country, and they're eager, and so there's really a lot of possibilities and potential there, and like I said, the positive energy most of all. But at the same time, we have concerns about the loss of all those years of experience and mentorship, so we try and provide the right guidance to help them.
Yeah. I know when I talked to former Chief McGarry, there was a certain number of officers that you guys wanted to have in the department. Was it close to like 200 or something?
That's right. That's right.
How much closer are you all to getting there?
Yeah. So under Mayor McGee, we really had made some progress, because we were significantly down into the low 160s. But because of these retirement issues that I'm talking about, we're now in the low 170s. But the good news is we have 12 officers that are in the academy who are due to graduate in August, and then we have 5 more that will be graduating in November, and then we have 5 more that will be entering the academy in September. So as we lose some people, we're trying to gain a little bit and get closer and closer back up to where full staffing would be.
And this year you also brought on some new ones from the academy, correct?
Yes, we had several officers join us recently who transferred in from other agencies, and we've had other academy graduates, just 2 of them very recently also joined us.
So there's good things happening.
Yeah,
so there's a lot coming.
And like
I
said, I'm really impressed with the performance and the commitment of the young officers. It's really, from a guy who's been around for a while, it's encouraging to see.
And as time goes by, policing changes throughout the year. You talked about it, social media being a big tool as far as policing. How does the Lynn Police Department utilize social media, to help them solve cases or do anything of that nature? Yeah,
and social media has become such a part of our society overall. So we use it for a variety of means, everything from notifying the community about things like the teen center and positive things are going on, or to update them on a job well done by an officer. But also when we have a particular crime and we maybe have a photo of the suspect or a fact pattern or a description, we can put it out there as well and try to generate tips. So we use it for a variety of purposes.
And one thing I've noticed from on the Facebook page that whenever there's a big drug bust or something, you guys also always put that information. And you just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you guys been solved the past couple months, because I know I've seen there's been some big drug bust that's happened over the last several months, and with help with the state police and DEAs. Can you just talk about some of the stuff that happened?
Sure. So we have partnerships with law enforcement agencies on the state level and the federal level, and oftentimes work on joint investigations. I think 2 weeks ago, one of our detectives who's on the FBI task force, Detective Rich Fucci, was part of an operation that resulted in a substantial arrest and seizure of weapons and seizure of drugs. And we've had several of those recently. The drug task force partners with the DEA. We have a detective, Officer Ross Panaclopis, assigned to that task force as well. So by having representatives working directly with those federal agencies, we can have more of a role in addressing those problems and being involved in the investigations and having a good outcome. Because whenever we can take substantial quantities of drugs off the street, and certainly getting guns off the street, that's critically important to us, because those are two of the things that drive a lot of issues in this community. It's not just crime, but also just the toll it takes on families and on individuals as well. So that's important to us.
What is probably what's the most frequent thing that you guys have to deal with in the summer as far as just like crime or anything? What is something that frequently happens in the summer that you guys always have to deal with? Or is there like a boost? As I know around this area, there's been a boost of people trying to steal cars or get into vehicles.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed that too?
Yeah, I think we have a couple of things. In the summertime, obviously more people are outside, and they're usually outside later at night. So you have a lot more noise issues. People are drinking. There's the potential for fights or other encounters, that kind of disruption and disturbances that occur. So we see obviously more of that, and we try to address that. We use the first approach. We try to give a warning, and then we can from there go up to try to do a noise citation or try to use the least enforcement measure necessary to address and resolve the problem. The other things, we have seen an increase in larceny of motor vehicles in the current year. A lot of those are driven actually by rental cars that are not returned, so an individual might get charged with using their authority, or the rental agency might report the car stolen because their client hasn't returned it, but it's not stolen in the traditional sense. So those can disproportionately impact that rate, but we still do have regular larcenies as well, and we try to address those by increasing patrols if we see a particular area where that's happening. But what you describe in the parking lot, I would think it's probably more what we call a larceny from a motor vehicle or B&E to a motor vehicle. And that might be individuals going around just looking for some valuables, and if the car door is unlocked, they'll check it, and if they can just go in and get something quick, they'll try and do that as well.
Yeah, a couple more things before we get out of here. I know last year there was a lot of protests happening throughout the nation. There was plenty happening in the city of Lynn last year. First, can you talk about when you see something as an officer, when you see what happened in Minnesota and you're looking at it from afar and there's going to be so much criticism coming at every police, even though they have nothing to do with what happened over there. First, how do you as a department handle that, and what has the department been doing to have to better relationships with the community?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing to do when you see what happened in Minnesota, and I believe our department did do this along with many others, is you condemn that behavior. The actions the officer took are not part of any police practices that we authorize, and frankly, we don't engage in those. So you have to condemn improper procedures and frankly, downright awful behavior when you see it, and we did do that. But then you also have to be prepared to listen to people, because people come to you having their own life experiences, their own personal experiences, and so it's very important to listen to them. And in the course of the demonstrations you saw in this community, what we tried to do was we tried to reach out to stakeholders and leaders of the various protest groups, and just to talk to them beforehand, tell them what we were doing in response to certain policy issues and other things like that, but also to talk to them about how we could provide a safe space for the demonstrations. We didn't want to have violence or destruction or anybody being hurt or businesses being harmed, but we wanted to facilitate a process where their voices could be heard in a meaningful way. So we tried to work with the stakeholders and the organizers on that regard.
There it goes. There was a $500,000 grant that was given to an organization. Are you guys the racial justice organization? I believe it was. Is that something that you guys are going to be working with them as far as community work and stuff like that?
Right. So the mayor has put $500,000 into his budget to fund an unarmed crisis response program.
There we go. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, we're certainly, obviously we're going to be part of that, and we're committed to listening and to take part in meaningful discussions to try to find ways to enhance the public safety response, to involve trained professionals in that type of response, especially with regard to vulnerable populations and others. So those discussions are, we're getting ready to move into that phase. I know the mayor is engaging some consultants to be involved in that process, and we expect to have meaningful conversations on what would work for this community and how we can enhance efforts to help those vulnerable populations.
I had to break that moment right there.
No, I understand.
And lastly, can you just talk about some of the events that you guys got going on, some of the programs that you guys have going on for the summer? You talked about the teen drop-in center. Is there other programs that you guys have going on this summer?
Yeah, so what we think, part of the real approach we want to take as a police department in this community is to create opportunities to be engaged with the public. So we have really committed to try to increase foot patrols, especially in the downtown area, where by having that approachable, engaged police presence provides an opportunity for people to engage in conversations with officers, share concerns they might have, provides the officers an opportunity to hear from people, and then supplement that also with the bike patrols. The CBD bike unit, which is a committed presence downtown, has been very popular, very effective at helping businesses solve problems, which is going to be important to growing the economy in the downtown area. They're very good at working with a variety of social service agencies in this area to help out with the issues of mental health in the community, homelessness in the community, substance use disorder in the community. So, we want to enhance more of that type of patrol where there can be more direct engagement and hear from people directly. Beyond that, I'm really committed to trying to enhance our youth engagement opportunities. We do have the Teen Center, which is Friday nights at 5:30 at the Thurgood Marshall School, 5:30 to 9:30, was an opportunity to have a safe space and interact with police officers, play some basketball or some other things like that. And in the fall, that'll transition over to, I believe it'll go back to Lynn Tech, but right now there's air conditioning at Thurgood Marshall, which helps. We're stopping in at the Stop the Violence basketball tournament to be part of that and to have a positive engagement with the young adults and young people that are involved there. I've just asked Lieutenant Donovan from the Youth Services Unit to put together a bike safety event for younger children that we're going to run and have some helmets to give away and some other things like that. And beyond that, I've also asked him to put together a sort of a physical fitness, healthy lifestyle day as well for young people. So we want to create more and more of those positive engagements. We want to work with our partners like LISOA and ROCA and Catholic Charities and FCS to engage in positive interventions to help kids get the guidance, the mentorship, and the referrals they need to make healthy choices and be on a better path in life.
Definitely. And that last helmet giveaway, I think you guys, it took like 10 minutes.
That was at the YMCA last year, right?
I showed up and it was all gone. I showed up 5 minutes after it began, it was all gone. It was a great event. Oh man, wish we had more time. There's more stuff we could discuss, but we just ran out of time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
To giving us all that information. Also, please let them know to go to the Facebook page if they want to find out any information or any updates.
Yeah, the Lynn Police Facebook page and Twitter, we post a lot of information on there. We're currently updating some information on our website as well, so that'll be a resource going forward in the future.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Not a problem. Always great to have the police department in here to just give the community up-to-date information. You guys have been watching the Lynn Lowdown. Have a great day. Now time for local events from the community calendar. Tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m., Ward 1 Neighborhood Dumpster Day hosted by Darren Sear and Wayne Losey will take place at Gowdy Park. The 7th annual Lynn Youth Summer Track Meets begin this week at Manning Field and will continue to go on every Monday until August 23rd from 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. The meets are sponsored by Lynn Parks and Recreation. On-site registration is available for those interested. On Wednesday from 11 a.m. until 2:30 p.m., the Lynn Public Library's Children's Department will be hosting Parties by Carol. Attendees are encouraged to bring a chair or a blanket. This program is sponsored by the Lynn Cultural Council. Also on Wednesday, the mural celebration will take place from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. at Ernie's Harvest Time. Artists Cinda Don and Michael Agahoa will reveal their mural, which was made possible by the Spatial Justice Grant. This event is free to the public. Lynn Community Health Center Mobile Vaccine Summer Session will be happening every second, third, fourth, and fifth week of each month. The locations for the mobile vaccines are on Union Street, Broad Street, Elmwood Ave, and South Common Street. Visit the Lynn Community Health Center website for more information about the mobile vaccine. The Salvation Army Food Pantry will go on from Tuesday through Friday from 12 p.m. until 3 p.m. at their Franklin Street location. Residents are encouraged to come with a clean trunk and bring proof of address. For more information, visit the Salvation Army website at salvationarmy.org/Lynn. To find out more about the community events, visit the LCTV website and click on the community calendar. Thank you for watching the LCTV News. Make sure to subscribe to the LCTV Facebook page as well as the LCTV YouTube channel. Also visit lyntv.org to watch any show at any time on your computer, phone, or tablet. I'm Mukala Kabongo. Have a great day.